and the SPA will fight to the end and lead the way, yeah. Sing out together. These are sky blue days. These are sky blue days. The CBS and the SPA will fight to the end and lead the way, yeah. Sing out together. These are sky blue days. These are sky blue days. The CBS and the SPA will fight to the end and lead the way, yeah. Sing out together. Sky Blue Fans TV, for the fans, by the fans. Well, good evening and welcome to a special edition Sky Blue Fans TV. I'm Milesy. We've had a mad 24 hours and we're going to discuss this tonight. And we've got a couple of guests coming on. One of them's just vanished all of a sudden. I don't know where he's gone, but he'll be back in a minute. Glenn, our regular, will be on. If you are watching on YouTube, Twitter or Facebook, please send us a comment on our YouTube channel. We can get them live here. What we've got coming up tonight, we've got a few comments that I've seen on Twitter today. We'll bring them up later on. I've had a few people message me on Facebook, so I've got their comments. I've got some funny comments I've seen all day as well, which has been just great to see. And then we've got a couple of competitions coming up for you, so keep a listen out. But before we get carrying on here, we're going to introduce our first guest. And he's been on before. He's absolutely superb. See him at most games. He's from Warwick and Leamington and Warwick supporters group. How are you, Claudio?
Evening, Miles. How you doing?
All good, mate. All good. Oh, come on. What a 24 hours. Let's talk.
Well, it's mental, really. I mean, this time last night, sitting at home, watching the telly, getting ready for I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here. And I just couldn't believe it when I saw the phone was buzzing away. My son rang me up. He was going out with his mates to say, Dad, have you heard what's happening? And I thought, what? And when I saw the news, I thought, this is absolutely balmy. It's not totally unexpected, especially the takeover. So, yeah, I mean, what do you make of it? It's just absolutely mad the way it's come about. Really sudden. But I suppose these things, although they seem sudden to us, they've probably been going on for a few weeks in the background. So we only get to hear right at the end, don't you, really? And if any business people have got anything about them, they'll keep their mouth shut until when they need to tell whoever is concerned there's a deal on the table. But I just hope it goes through.
And Glenn's joined us. Good evening, Glenn. He's there. He's on mute. No, can't hear him. Anyway, so Claudio, yeah, you asked. What do I think? Well, it went a bit quiet, which sort of, when things go a bit quiet, it always puts in your mind that you're going to hear something come out very soon. I was surprised that it came out last minute like last night. But the fans are so excited. I mean, you know, I've been under the weather this week. When I seen that news last night, it did make me feel a lot better. But you know, it's he's got 85% share in the club. So CC have only got 15%. So really, he's got full say of what's going on. I'm absolutely chuffed with his attitude. He was excited like we get. Yeah. He sounded like he wanted the best for the fans, which I think we haven't heard for a long time. So he wants the best for our club and us. He wants to get us to the Premier League, so he wants to invest. And the big thing for me was that he said, we're not going to sell anyone. I mean, obviously, you can't really say that, because if someone came in for a player and offered over the odds, say, you know, Vic's worth 20 and someone comes in and offers 40 million, you're going to sell him all day long, aren't you? Because, you know, it'd be daft not to. But, I mean, it's just going to be, January is going to be amazing, because Mark Robbins is going to be able to say, I've got no money. He ain't going to be able to say that because now he's going to have some money to invest in the club. And his attitude was superb for me. And even after this afternoon, when it went against him and he didn't get the bid, he come out and he spoke to all the media.
Yeah.
Every single person. He was on ITV, he was on BBC One, he was on Sky, he's been on CWR. His attitude's superb, don't you think?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've heard more from him in the last 12 hours than we have from our current owners in 15 years. I mean,
Yeah.
Over the summer and even now, since the discussion about Ross and their demise, we've not heard a thing really out of the club, and definitely the owners. We've not seen a thing of Tim Fisher. Joseph Parler's not said a word. It was really, really quiet, which is kind of maybe a bit suspicious about maybe something was going on, or it just seems weird that they just kept everything quiet. Nothing was seemed to be happening. We spoke about this on Saturday, didn't we? But
Yeah.
it seemed really, really quiet behind the scenes. I mean, I just thought he came across really, really well on this morning, enthusiastic, which is I suppose he will be because he's just about to take on a club, but he's very positive. His attitude. It wasn't just about I'm coming in. I just want to balance the books, survive, just see the season out. He actually said promotion in his second interview, which I thought,
Yeah.
He's mentioned the P word.
This is just fantastic, isn't it? It's brilliant.
It's probably the right things to say to fans who are feeling positive. I know there's a lot of scepticism because of what's happened in the previous 15 years, and Sisu have still got a 15% stake. But I mean, 15%, that is virtually nothing.
No, it's peanuts.
I mean, the Saudis have taken over Newcastle with 80%. There's still people behind the scenes. It's the same at Liverpool. I can mention loads of other clubs where you've got a majority shareholder and you've got some people with just a few shares, basically, as some kind of income event, for the good times, and give them something to sell. Who knows? Maybe that 15% might go to Mike Ashley.
You never know. Is Glenn there yet? I don't know if he's there. He's still on mute for some reason. He must be busy. Oh no, he's here. Glenn. Before just a minute, Glenn. Just 2 secs. Just a couple of questions a couple of comments straight away, and then we get you in, Glenn. So just from Wayne Hyle, PUSB. So good. Everyone's happy already. I think it's great news from Wes. I think it's great news for all. Yes, would have been nice for the owner to have gotten the stadium. Yeah, it would have been superb. But this is a positive thing, not only for the fans of CCFC, but also for the city as a whole. Absolutely superb. Glenn, we'll bring you in, mate. We'll bring you in. Give us your thoughts. We've said what we think so far. What do you think, mate? He's gone again.
I don't really think it's sunk in. I mean, I think my dad messaged me the link, and I was like, it's got to be a parody. It's got to be a wind-up account. It can't be true. I mean, I'd heard whispers a week ago that obviously I'd heard that Dawkins might go to the press about them being locked out, and obviously that happened. And then I'd heard something that January might be interesting, but I took it as outgoings, not incomings. And yeah, he seems really positive, and I liked his attitude. Like he didn't get the deal with Ashley, and he's like, well, I'll see if I can do a deal with him afterwards. And I think that's the thing with him. He seems very upfront, very likable, and he didn't duck any questions. I mean, Simon Gilbert gave him a bit of a grilling probably this morning quite early, and he pretty much answered all the questions. He explained the Sisu link, which, looking at it, it makes sense why it was done hush-hush, because it was all in-house. There's no need to get external parties in if you're doing a deal with someone who you've worked with, or you have people who you work with. If I'm going to buy a car off you, I don't need to go and speak to somebody else to do the deal, do I? Because I know you, and that's the logic on it. And he's really positive. I think he was on a bit of a wing and a prayer getting the CBS. Obviously, Ashley's had it lined up. I mean, I know I sent you the message earlier that the administrators who Ashley's bought the CBS from are the same administrators that he had well, he's currently got an ongoing case with about Debenhams who he tried to get and he didn't get. So it's one of them. It's all a bit murky and shady, and I think no one was ever going to get it once he got in there. He's been round the table too many times. You're dealing with someone who's, well, he's probably bought more clubs in administration than Vic scored goals this season, to be fair.
Yeah, I'll give you that one, mate. Definitely. No, Wayne Vaughan's just come up. He's gone. We deserve a change in luck, and it's true, isn't it? We do deserve a change in luck. I mean, it's just been horrendous. I mean, I was saying on CWR this morning with a croaky voice that for me, the big thing here for me is that, like you said, Claudio, the word promotion, for the young fans like your lad, Glenn's lads, William, my lad, they've seen us drop to League One and League Two. They've seen us rise from League Two to League One and then into the Championship. Wouldn't it be lovely for those supporters, those young supporters, and all the young supporters, like the ones in the family zone that have just started going, because the family zone brings that extra entertainment for the kids, keeps them involved with the club. Wouldn't it be lovely for them fans to see us play in the Premier League? I mean, it'd be amazing, wouldn't it, Claudio?
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's. I mean, the last 5 seasons for those young supporters has been good because although we went down into League Two, they've witnessed the celebration of Wembley a couple of times and obviously promotion into the Championship. And it'd be great to just keep that kind of momentum going. I mean, and this is what worries me currently, that it's all going to go a bit flat if nobody comes in and takes the club further. And especially when they're talking about, you can probably hear my cat.
I was wondering who's strangling it.
Don't leave me alone. And it's a great opportunity. And I mean, I've been wanting somebody to come in for years, basically, and it'd be nice to think that we can press on even further, or just be up there all the time, and to make it more exciting. I mean, the start of this season, we were all panicking, weren't we, a bit, because we were lagging behind a bit. But now we're looking like the team we believe we are. Bit of momentum. If we could add to the squad, this guy's saying we're not going to sell, which would be great. But if we can add as well, in fact, just not get rid of anybody would be a start, wouldn't it? And hopefully, these our kids and that can see a bit more and get in the Premier League. I mean, we took it for granted, didn't we? I mean, I started following 1970, so I saw, virtually every season in the top flight, and you just took it for granted. We took it for granted. We were playing Liverpool, Everton, Arsenal. We just thought we'd be there every season. And it's just weird that we haven't played them for 21, 22 seasons now. It's mad, isn't it? It's a generation and a bit more.
It is. Well, it's two, isn't it? Definitely.
Yeah.
And Glenn, what are your thoughts, mate? It'd be brilliant for your kids to see us in the Premier League, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I've always said, ever since the COVID season where we didn't get to celebrate promotion, I'd love us to get promoted at CBS and just have the proper celebration that we kind of got denied, and that was kind of maybe a bit of a pipe dream, and it's now not looking as stupid as a comment as it did, because there is a massive opportunity. It could still go spectacularly wrong because that's COF fan, and we're ingrained to expect the worst. You only got to look at the people who were just slating John Dawkins, who's been a COF fan probably since I remember going COF games with him and his mate who I used to go with. So, and the people calling him out, I think we're ingrained to expect the worst. But it's exciting that we ended on a good run for the international break. We're going to be talked about for the right reasons when we were being talked about earlier in the season for the wrong reasons. I think there generally is a lot of goodwill in the football community that we do probably deserve a bit of luck and our chance to have a go and see where it takes us. And he seems quite positive. Obviously, the problem is, in some ways, you wish Mike Ashley would be as upfront as Doug King has been, and that's the problem. You don't know what Ashley's going to do. And if you listen to the Newcastle fans, you're kind of thinking, what are we letting ourselves in for? But we've kind of eliminated any chance of him getting the club now, really, unless the Doug King deal goes by. So what is Ashley's plan going to be? Does he just want the CBS? Because I don't see what he can do with the CBS. So hopefully he'll just flip it. Doug King will make him an offer he can't refuse. He'll flip it and sell it to us, and everyone walks away happy. But it's not going to be like that, and there's probably a few more twists in the tail. But yeah, it's exciting. We'd love the Premier League even for a season. We'd love it for all the crap that goes with it and VR, and probably lose a few games 4 or 5-0. It's great. It'd be great to see Mo Salah, Harry Kane, and all them playing at the CBS just for a season, because that would make kids want to go and play for Cov.
Yeah.
Regarding
go on.
regarding Mike Ashley in Newcastle, I mean, he paid 140 odd million for Newcastle. He then gets in there and realised there were 100 million in debt. So that's what he took on. And that's a massive, to take all that on. And then he couldn't spend mad. He had to get that debt down. And he did. And he was still buying players, and he still had some decent managers there. I mean, we've got to remember, Newcastle have not won a domestic trophy since 1955. So they've not been poor just under Ashley. And I mean, when they did get relegated, he got them promoted straight away. He kept the team, didn't he? He didn't, so I think it depends, which Newcastle fan you talk to. And I mean, they're getting excited now because someone's come in with billions, and they've just spent £220 million in the transfer market. So if you spend 220 million, you should be in the top 6, surely.
Should be top.
Well, yeah. So I kind of like, I mean, they didn't like him because he's a Spurs fan for a start. He's a Cockney boy, isn't he? Although I think he was born in Warsaw originally. But he's, I'm just not really. I don't really care what Newcastle fans think, to be honest.
Do you know what? For me though, we've been on Sky once this season to watch us play football, or for fans to see us play football, and we've been on Sky more.
Yes.
With the scenarios off the pitch than we have on the pitch, which is great. Let's get to some comments because they're flying in here, which is great. Wes again, we can't forget that Ashley has helped us keep the games being played recently. Absolutely, mate. I mean, he's done us proud there. I mean, you can't complain about that, can you? We've kept the run going, and we didn't really want the international break. So, I mean, that's just brilliant, isn't it? Don't you think, Glenn?
Yeah, I think you've got to say fair play to him. He's put the cash up. No one else did. So you've got to say fair play to him that he's done it. And like I said, you can't judge somebody on what they've done in the past, because we would have all judged Dave Body based on what Worcester fans told us about him and look what he's done for us. So I think everyone who comes into the club has a clean sheet. Casey Palmer's example. What did Bristol City fans tell us about him? And look what the guy's done for us. You cannot have a preconception on what. It's the same with Doug King. Yeah, he's got ties to Sisu, but we'll judge him on what he does. And if he wants to keep Joyce Parlour involved in a back role, it's sensible because she's ran the club for X amount of years. Why would you take a business over and lose one of the most experienced assets? Like, he's not going to get rid of Mark Robbins, is he, either? He'll probably offer Mark Robbins a wage increase if he's got any common sense.
Well, yeah, to keep hold of him, definitely.
He's more of a sports fan, as he said, isn't he? He's not, I wouldn't say he's a football fan. He's somebody who's around the local area. He's probably judged it by what's been happening in the media, and what's going on at Coventry. He's just seen an opportunity. Obviously, somehow they've got talking, and he's put the offer in, hasn't he? And I just hope the EFL will just let it go through. I mean, the biggest disappointment now is if they say no, and then that would be really, really, well terrible.
If they say no and they've let people buy clubs that they don't even vet, I mean, they'd be mental, wouldn't they?
And
you know what I mean?
Talking about we and us already.
I know, it's brilliant.
That's what I like. It's like, so he has got it's done and dusted. And you could tell he he sounded disappointed about the stadium this afternoon.
Gutted.
He could see but he also then realised it was a bit too late to get the bid in and all the rest of it. And I think, in the end, I'm not surprised with the outcome. I think we expected it to go there.
And look, we got Mad Hatter on. Good evening, Mad Hatters. How's it going? Well, hope the two guys can sort something out for the good of the fans. Alan Mad Hatter, play up Sky Blues, Alan. His interview on Central News, which was great because the guy asked him, "What does he think about Mike Ashley?" And he said, "Well, I don't know the guy, so how can I answer that question? I can't say what he's like if I've never met him." I mean, that's honesty, isn't it?
Yeah,
Claudio.
Yeah, you can just, until you meet somebody, you can't really give a valid opinion, can you? It's all what you take from the media and you take snippets from other people. And like I was saying, if you believe the Newcastle fans, you think it's the worst thing ever. But he kept them afloat and he sold them for a profit, didn't he? So, and he handed over a decent club, and now they're fourth in the league. So how can they say he's done a bad thing? I think I prefer it went to him than some of the other guys involved. We got a British owner of the arena. Hopefully, pretty much a British owner of the football club, which makes a change, doesn't it?
Definitely, yeah. Wayne again said those were the days in the Premier League. Well, they're going to come back, mate. They're coming back. Mick Davenport. Good evening, Mick. How are you? Evening, everyone. Doug King needs to put his money where his mouth is in the January window. Keep the top players invested and into the current squad and push on for more. Now, I was going to ask this question, and we'll come back to some more comments in a minute. Here's a question for Glenn. So, Glenn, I was talking to Ken earlier when we found out he's on the test track behind me, driving a £150,000 Range Rover on an off-road thing. We were saying, what sort of money do you think that you would need to add to the squad? Me and Ken said about 10 million because the current squad at the moment is absolutely superb, apart from a couple of players which I'd love to see out the door, and you know who they are. What are you thinking, Glenn? How much to invest to add to the squad to get us up there?
I don't even think you need 10 million. I think, personally, because we were actually talking about this work, I think you immediately whack a new contract in front of Hamer, O'Hare and Gyökeres with a basic buyout clause on it. So you basically get them for another 6 to 12 months. Yeah. So we've got them till the summer. And I think you could probably just get a couple of freebies and offer a decent wage and a couple of loans. I don't think that squad doesn't need massive surgery. You need probably a defender who can play wing back. You possibly need another left wing back, and assuming you keep everyone, you probably need another forward, depending how Godden is. But if Godden's back, probably by the end of Jan, you're fine. I've just seen what Wes said. He said basically, I think with 2 wing backs and another striker short promotion. I don't think we need massive surgery, and I don't think signing loads of players would be the good idea because you might lose the team spirit that we've got. So I think it's probably just being a bit cute and doing some good. And there's probably some decent Premier League loanies about. You've got Cameron Archer from Villa who might be available in January. He'd be great if you could offer Villa a decent deal to get him on loan, and he'd get us goals. And there's a couple probably other lads who have done it at the Championship level you could go and get, and you probably wouldn't have to spend a huge amount of money. So it depends on obviously what his plan is. I'd be very surprised if you saw him whacking 10 million coming January, because you've got financial fair play and all that malarkey as well. So I don't see him doing that. But I think for probably a quarter of that, you could probably get us to be competitive in the playoffs. I think 10 million, then you're probably looking at top 2. But I don't think we get that much money unless we get a stupid offer for Vic.
What you've said there about bringing in players that could upset the attitude of the club as it is. I think Robbins is very clued up of what sort of player he wants to bring in and what attitude. I mean, you've only got to see what he's seen in Casey Palmer and how Adi and him and Dennis have changed his attitude to the game. He's like a new player, isn't he, Claudio? I mean, that's what we've got to bring in, haven't we? Is the same attitude players.
Yeah, I mean, and if you look at Forest last season, they brought in six. I think it was that six loanees. They didn't actually sign anybody there, and they were good loanees. I know they had to get rid of them when they got promoted, but as Glenn was saying, you don't need to spend a lot. There'll be players out of contract, still waiting for clubs. It's whether we've got the opportunity. Hopefully, the transfer embargo will be lifted by then. Well, if this guy comes in, if they say the debts are cleared, I presume they can pay that off as well, can't they? The tax bill. Our staff have been pretty good at bringing in the right players. We've had some. They haven't been all fantastic. We know that. But that's the same with every club. But the ones who he's stuck with, have been great. And the attitude of the squad is marvellous. And you saw it the Saturday as well. It was a great performance, especially the first half. And then you can say the second half, because for 15 minutes, we were so solid, just keeping them out. And you go on to win the game like they did on Saturday, and it proved it with those players. They've got the right attitude. They're capable. You've just got to keep them together, haven't you? It only needs one player to go. I can remember going back to the days when we had Ryan Kent on loan. We're sitting in the top six, and this was with Sisu. They let Kent go, and the second half of that season was terrible. I think Millwall were way behind us, 10 points behind us. They ended up in the playoffs. Barnsley were third bottom and got promoted by the playoffs. And there was us. I said to my lad at the time, I says, surely we're at Christmas, top six. We've got to get in the playoffs this season. We've got a really good chance. They let Kent go. The whole squad, it's almost like they're down tools. The attitude completely changed. And it does that happens. You can see even the start of the season. I know people are saying, "Oh, we're not missing Hyam now," but the start of the season that hurt the squad. It hurt Mark Robbins. You could see it. He wasn't happy, and the fans weren't happy, and it looked like it when they were playing. Eventually,
I'll tell you a story about that. Right, 3 players came into my work. Okay, they're all driving. They're all in the same car. Adam Armstrong, Ryan Kent, and Jacob Murphy.
Yeah,
they came in Jacob's car. Adam Armstrong was driving it. He came in. He would come in for a service, and I got to serve him. It was great. I had all 3 of them round me desk. It was brilliant. We sat talking for ages, and I said to them, I says, "So, are we going up then? Are you going to do this?" They went, "Oh yeah, we're going to do this." They were all up for it. They were really up for it.
Yeah.
And as you just said, Ryan Kent went, and it just went all Pete Tong, didn't it?
But they're definitely down tools. I know that for a fact. They did. They're down tools. They probably. Not to the point where they didn't want to play football, but the attitude changed.
Yeah.
And I believe, well, I've got to be careful because we're on air, but certain things weren't given to certain players who were promised things, basically.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. To me, that's what the owners are like.
Yeah. No, listen, I think is this a bit of a negative? Seem very contrived. The Doug King statement. You can say what you want in public. Well, yeah, but he just, I think the way he sounded and the way he spoke was, as you said earlier, Claudio, it's the best we've heard anyone talk about our football club for 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years. It's a breath of fresh air, isn't it?
Well, I think if you're fairly positive, you'll listen to that and think this is great. If you're a bit sceptical, I can understand it. People are going to think, "Oh yeah, we've heard this all before." It's just all for show. They say the proof is in the pudding. Let's see what happens when he finally gets over the line. The deal's done. He's actually in charge, and then we can see what it's all about. And then in January it comes. If he doesn't sell anybody, we can go, "Well, there you go. You said you weren't going to sell anybody, and we didn't."
Yeah.
Yeah. If the first thing he does is let Vic go for 10 million, then we think, "Oh, brilliant."
I don't think he'll do that. I think
No,
he's a bit.
no.
I think he's got a bit more of a business head on than that.
Yeah.
Here's one for you, Glenn. If you could, would Ashley step in if the EFL reject King?
Honestly, I haven't got Scooby. Logic would dictate why on earth did he go for Derby last season, and less than 6 months later, he doesn't want a team probably in a better shape than Derby were underground. But everyone keeps telling me that he doesn't want the club. So I don't really know. But I would imagine he would have potentially want the ground at the club as well, because it's something that could be profitable. It's like people say, we're the ninth biggest city in the UK, and yard, all that other stuff. So there's massive potential. So I don't really know. I'd be very surprised if the King deal fell through for the EFL, looking at some of the clowns the EFL have let take over clubs. No comment, Stephen Dale, Berry is one example. I don't think he's on that level. So yeah, I think I'd be interested to see if he can work with Ashley. But I wouldn't put it past King. He seems a sort of person to me that you might just say to Ashley, name your price for the CBS, and we'll do a deal. And that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty nice, wouldn't it? Now, listen, we've done half an hour so far. We're just going to take a quick break. I just need to clear my throat, if that's all right, guys. So we'll be back in a couple of minutes.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
And welcome back to Sky Blue Fans TV. I'm Milesy. I'm joined tonight by our regular and Sky Blue Fans TV member Glenn and Claudio from Leamington and Warwick Supporters Club. Now, listen, I've took some comments off Twitter. I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, but I'm going to do it because I wanted to try something different today. First of all, I've got this one here. Now, what do you think, guys? This is from Andy Redding. He's involved with Cecil already, along with his partner and former partner. This is an insider business deal, in my opinion. It will be beneficial for the city. I somehow doubt. Do you research yourselves? I don't believe this is new money at all, and I don't trust the players, which he means Sisu and Doug King. What are your thoughts on that, guys? Start with you, Glenn.
I think he kind of answered that. He's not Sisu. He is a hedge fund. That's quite clear, and he clearly stated that in his interview with Simon Gilbert. So he's not Sisu. He has relationships with people in Sisu or who have been part of Sisu. So it's nothing. He's no skeletons in the closet. He's been upfront about it. So I think, yeah. I mean, last night was a bit crazy. Everyone was putting 2 and 2 together and making 5 and mailing addresses and registered addresses. And yeah, you're bound to start alarm bells ringing. And because we've been burnt before, and you've only got to look at what happened with Derby, with the farce they had with 2 potential people taking over and how far they got down the line before it all went wrong. So yeah, it's totally understandable. But I do think, yeah, there's a connection there, but it's not Sisu selling to Sisu, or I can't remember how Danny White in our group chat changed it. He reversed the letters of Sisu backwards. Sisu is, and it was like UEC or something like that. But yeah, it's not Sisu selling to Sisu, definitely not.
And Claudio?
Well, the connection is not Doug King's business partner is the brother of a former director of Sisu, and that's it. I mean, they're hedge funds. They're bound to cross paths, aren't they? That's the way it is. It's they're looking for investors and all sorts. That's how they do business. I'm not too worried really. I mean, I can understand suspicion because of that 15%. If it had gone 85% to Doug and 15% going to somebody else, then I suppose people go, great, they're completely out of it. But yeah, I'm not surprised there's a bit of skepticism there. But I think I would say it's all legit. I'd like to think it is. Anyway, I'm trying to be positive here.
I think to make it more legit, I think we all need to go out and buy some rapeseed oil so we can buy some more players.
Well, my
That'd be
first
good,
thought
wouldn't it?
was I suffer badly with hay fever and I can't stand the stuff.
Brilliant. So I've got another one here. What happens here then? Is Ashley able to flip the stadium for a quick £8 million profit? Can Ashley buy the stadium and give King an overnight profit? Or are we really doing another decade plus with tenants versus landlords? Come to you on that one, Claudio. Oh, that was from Matt at Matt
Yeah.
TFCCFC.
Yeah, I had similar put on one of my Facebook posts. I think it's from the same person actually. He could do, couldn't he? I mean, but I don't think he'll let it go for 8 million. 25 million. He'd want more, wouldn't he? Straight away. He's not. He's a multi-millionaire, billionaire, whatever businessman. It could happen, but I don't think. For me now, that the issue is just making sure that 10-year lease is honoured. We're playing at the stadium. There's no problems. They're not going to put a sky-high rent in, whatever, and just keep the club there. I mean, I get the impression, I think Ashley's already said he just wants to be working with the club. And I think he'll be better off working with the new owner than the one we had previously.
Yeah.
No, I think there's no... I wouldn't think he'd want to sell it straight away. I mean, for a start, if he tries to flog it, the new bar will go straight away. Well, I've been told there's £6 million worth of repairs need to be done first. It's like buying a house, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have thought so. I think Ashley's a big businessman. He's probably got already plans for stuff already.
Yeah. And Glenn, your thoughts on that comment?
I think that's the dream scenario, but it is probably just a dream. That's the best thing to say on it.
Okay, cool. So I've got this one here. Well, there's a couple actually. Was there a Black Friday discount on the CBS or something? I think that's brilliant. And then that's from Max Mazziano. And then we got Sam. Can we all have a Sports Direct giant mug? Hey, do you know what? That's our compensation. Do you remember that compensation they're on about? We're all going to get one of them, aren't we?
Get a big mug.
Mad.
I must
Absolutely
admit,
mad.
I am surprised how cheap it is. I don't know. For some reason, there was all talks of 50, 60, 70 million. And then when they, you kind of feel sorry for the bondholders, I think, who are going to get 30p in the pound now. So there's some woman on CWR said she'd put in 50,000 and now she's going to get about 16.5, 17,000 back.
Yeah.
That's rubbish, isn't it, really? I mean, you take a risk with those sort of investments. But I was surprised it went, what, was it 17 in total? 17. Is that included the 1.2 he's already paid, or is that like on top?
I think that includes on top of that he's got put. But I heard, now I don't know how true this is, but before it went into administration today, it was 90 million.
Right.
And because it went straight into administration, 60 million or 70 million gets wiped off, and then that's what it's worth.
God.
I don't know how true it is. I mean, obviously you round figures up, so it might be just a bit less. But I mean,
that's
it's
a bit
just
like a repossession of a house, isn't it? It may be worth 400,000, but chances are you might get only 200,000 for it.
That's it. Yeah, and
It's
that's yeah,
yeah.
it's madness. I mean, Glenn, I mean, those funny comments there. I mean, what do you make to them, mate? He's vanished again. He's gone. He's making a cup of tea, I think, definitely. But no,
Oh,
before we come,
there's some
oh, he's
great
here.
comments on Twitter about it. So yeah,
He's gone again. Right. Okay. So let's get to some more comments here. We did that one earlier. Wes with his two wing backs. What we got here? We got Mick Davenport probably thinks that we need to spend about 3 to 5 million. That's a good shout. Yeah, take that.
Yeah, it is.
That's not a lot of money, is it?
Well, I've just seen the other comment there. That he's
Yeah.
got 25 million to spend. I mean, this is what I thought. Actually, I thought if he's not getting the arena, what's he going to do with that 25 million? Unless he's
Keep
putting
it for the Premier League.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah.
Because I think I'm going to go on to this again. I think our team is good enough to push for the playoffs, definitely, but we're weak in certain areas because we haven't got enough depth. The squad isn't big enough. We haven't got the depth like other
Yeah.
teams have got. When you look at Burnley, they keep rotating Matson
Yeah.
week in, week out. They've got the strength, they've got the depth, and we haven't got that. So
Yeah.
we just need to be. We don't want to go out spending big money. We want to do what Newcastle done, really. They spent a little bit of money in January last year to stay up.
Yeah.
Trippier was their biggest signing last season. And I think we need to probably just strengthen in little places. Obviously, left wing back, right wing back. I believe we need another midfielder, and I definitely believe. I think we need another two strikers, to be honest with you, because if Vic gets injured and we offload Waghorn and Tyler Walker, to say, then obviously we're a bit short. So maybe two strikers, so probably 5 players we need to bring in.
Well,
But I think we're good enough for the playoffs.
I mean, we're playing Olympiacos soon, aren't we, in a friendly? I suggest he goes there and brings Bowler back with him because he's on loan at the minute from Forest to Olympiacos. He'd be brilliant on the left-hand side. You know, he's a good player, he is. In fact, that's somebody I hoped we were going to get, but then I think he went for about 3 million, didn't he? And they shipped him out.
Yeah.
In fact, I'd imagine there's quite a few players at Forest that might want to ship out on loan in January.
Well, maybe we approach Forest and sign Panzo on a permanent. He'd love that because he's absolutely loving it at our club, isn't he? I mean, that's one player that I am so chuffed with is Panzo's, how he's reacted to the fans has just been superb, isn't it?
Well, I just thought, because we went to the pre-season friendlies, the goals he was getting he was getting on the headers for the corners. It's a shame he hasn't done it. Well, he's hit the bar, didn't he? It's like Millwall, was it? Or I think it's Millwall, Sunderland, wasn't he? Hit the bar from header. But he's a unit, isn't he? He's a good, strong lad. I mean, I like him. But you're right. We do need. I mean, we probably need strengthening the wing backs as well. If he wants to play wing backs, seriously play wing backs, he's got to sign wing backs. You can't expect central midfielders to do it. You can't expect a right and a left back to do it either. That's not their role, is it? I mean, Bidwell's improved, but I mean, he's never going to get past that man, is he? And you see it time and time again. He thinks about it and he turns back and plays it backwards again. But that's if the cash is available, isn't it? Hopefully, they can bring some in.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Glenn, I think your dad's popped up here on Facebook. Thanks for watching, Russ Watkin. Return of 30 pence is a decent offer. I don't buy shares. I ain't got a clue. So that's over my head.
I understand what you're saying. 30p in the pound, it is, but it's a bit gutting if it's your money and you put 50 grand in, you're getting 17,000 back. It's. I won't be too impressed with that. Try and explain that to the wife.
Well, I remember when I was working at Aston Martin when the shares went on sale at £20 a share. Within a week of them going on the stock exchange, they were worth £3 something.
Yeah.
So it is a gamble, isn't it? Definitely. We've got here Alan Packer again. Our
Yeah.
bench needs maybe 3 or 4 better players. 4 to 6 million would be the bee's knees. Yeah, it could be. But as we were saying, we don't want anyone to upset the apple cart. I think Mark Robbins knows what he wants to bring in. And do you know what's going to be brilliant? Is that, when he always says, and this really bugs me, he goes, "We've missed another target. We had
Yeah.
someone lined up, we've missed out, blah, blah, blah." You find out that player's gone to a lesser club because they can afford to pay him more money, and it just frustrates. And I think that's going to be lovely to have, Glenn. I mean, that's going to be amazing, isn't it? That hopefully we're not going to miss out on any targets.
Is he there?
No, it's vanished again. Claudio, I'll give that one to you. I'll spin that back to you, mate.
Yeah, well, I mean, am I right in thinking he did say they're bringing in a couple of players? This was before. This was last weekend. It sounded like something was going to happen anyway in January.
Yeah, mate. Mark
But
Robbins'
I don't know
interview.
if that meant we're going to bring a couple of players in, but we're probably losing one. He didn't actually say that, but I mean, from saying we can't sign players to saying we look like bringing a couple in, it seemed a strange thing to say, but. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing. I've said this at the start of the season. It would be great if you looked at social media and it says Coventry are linked with so and so, instead of you look at it, it's got Gyökeres linked with Leeds, Callum linked with Burnley. It's like, oh, why can't we be linked with somebody? So hopefully that starts happening. And the thing is, whenever you get a new owner, there's interest, isn't there? Yeah, it happens with all clubs. They get a new owner, and straight away the media start linking you with players that you never even heard of. So hopefully, something can happen.
I mean, Mark Robbins' interview, I think it was after the QPR game, or was it the Wigan? It's Wigan or QPR. I heard him say, "We're going to bring a couple of players in January. We've got money to spend." Now,
Yeah.
Doug King said today he hasn't spoken to Mark Robbins yet.
Well,
So has Joy
yeah.
spoken to Mark Robbins,
Yeah.
or Joy spoken to Dave Body? Body's then gone to Robbins, and he's thinking, "Here we go. I can have whoever I want now," which is just superb.
Well, it just seems
Yeah,
like
go
a
on.
strange thing to say. When we've been told there is no money, and yet he's saying we could bring 2 players in. So we'll see. But it depends who they're looking at, because what we don't need is a second division player from the Dutch league or something. It'd be nice to get a couple of established players of championship standard. Where you don't have to play him in the under-23s for 5 matches to get him up to speed. Because how many times has that happened in the last few seasons, where we sign somebody and we get told he's not ready yet? You're thinking, "Oh, that's no good. We want somebody up and running. We want somebody to get on that pitch straight away." So hopefully that will happen.
Yeah, I think Glenn's back now. Someone's just, I love this comment. Hold on a minute. I've got to bring this up, Glenn. Can we call Glenn the ghost with his magical disappearing act? Are you all right there, Glenn? He's gone again. Is he there or not? Oh, he's gone. He's a nightmare, isn't he? Never mind. So Mick Davenport, Sisu wanted to keep 15% for when we make it to the Premiership. So they get... Excuse me. So when they get to the Premiership, they'll get some money. Yeah, you can understand that, can't you? I mean, that's one of the biggest reasons. I mean, if someone comes in, there was talk that someone was going to buy if Mike Ashley came in, he would buy 53% or 52% of the club, which means he has the outright say.
Yeah.
But this guy, 85%, they've got 15%. It's understandable they're going to want a return, isn't it?
Yeah.
They've been here a long time. They're going to want some money back at some point, especially if we make it to the Premier League.
At 85%, she just handed the club over to him, basically. I mean, that's what has astonished me. I think a lot of people maybe thought, like I say, a 51-49, but to go, here's 85%. That's a lot. It's yeah, it's. I mean, that's probably what's taken everybody by surprise. Oh, you're muted. I can't hear you, Miles.
Oh, that's me. Sorry. January will be interesting. I was talking away and I was gone on mute. No, just saying, imagine, like Glenn said, that you could bring in just a few freebies and everything else
Yeah.
and, it'd be fine. Because you don't want to upset it. You imagine bringing Cristiano Ronaldo in, what he would do to the team with his attitude. There's no point in going out spending big money, is there? Because you don't want anyone like that coming into the team, do you?
Well, I think this is why he let Clark Harris go, didn't he? Because there was, I think there's issues, wasn't there, where attitude problems, basically. In fact, 2 or 3 of the players he has let go, there has been stuff that's gone on. That's why he's had to let them go. I think Robbins is a bit of a disciplinarian, and there's certain things where he's not happy with. He's let players go. It's not just all about ability sometimes. And you're right. Things can upset the apple cart. I mean, I remember, well, as you will, when we brought Dave Speedy in, and straight after the FA Cup, for me, I was 21, 22 at the time. I thought it was a fantastic signing, David Speedy, brilliant. But I know people who would have been my age now, then in their 50s, going, that's a terrible signing. He's going to upset everything. We had a great cup winning team. And of course, a couple of players' noses were put out of joint, weren't they? And I mean, within a couple of years, I think Houchin left about 18 months later, didn't he? He hardly featured. So it can upset things, can't it?
Oh,
If they get it
yeah, we
wrong.
definitely know it can. Anyone with an attitude in Mark Robbins, Hades and Dennis's team, I think they're going to really struggle. I mean, not saying we're going to go and sign Ronaldo, but we don't want anyone like that coming in. Russ has said, never sure on someone who has a centre parting. It's going back to 90s, isn't it? What's this one here? Let's have a look. Kevin Quinn. Anyone heard Mark Robbins' reaction to today? Not yet, but I did see there was a clip of him earlier, and I don't know if that was from last season or today, because the weather looked like the same as today, that someone was at the training ground. So I don't know if that was today.
Thursday. Is Thursday when you do the press conference, or is it Fridays?
Friday mornings, but they won't do one because there's no game. But there was someone there. See, I don't know. We'd have to wait and see what Mark Robbins. I mean, as Doug said, he hasn't spoken to him yet.
What about Tim Fisher? What about Dave Boddy? It's just
don't worry about Tim. Dave Boddy's on holiday because I emailed him and I got an automated return email saying I'm out the office till the 21st.
This would be interesting if this guy comes in. Does he? I mean, a lot of clubs do keep the CEO. I mean, would he keep the chairman? Is the 15% Tim Fisher?
I don't know, but he did come out. If you heard him earlier, he said he's going to be hands-on. He ain't just going to come in on a Saturday morning.
Who's this? Doug?
He says he's coming in. So who knows?
Yeah.
The future's looking bright.
I mean, it does sound. I don't know if you saw the Netflix Sunderland Till I Die. I mean, it is. I know it's Sunderland, but it is a really good series and shows you what's goes on in the background of a football club. But it kind of reminds me of the two guys who took over, where they look fresh-faced and look really happy to be there. It's all going. It's going to be it's fantastic. And after about 6 months, you can see that aged 20 years and wanted to get out, basically. Because it's tough running a football club. It's not going to be an easy ride, because you'll have half the fans absolutely excited, and the other half, any opportunity will be having a go. So it'd be interesting to see what it's like in 6 months, the end of the season, basically.
Talking about the fans, how many do you think are going to be there for Swansea? Or how are we going to get extra tickets for Reading? Because everyone's going to want to go to Reading, aren't they?
Well, I think there'll be no football apart from the World Cup. Surely we should get a minimum what we got against QPR. And if
Yeah.
you've got the new owner, you'd think we've got to get, we have to get more bodies up there anyway. It'd be nice to think that we get 25, 26,000 at least, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It would be good. But I mean, that's
yeah.
relying on the Swansea selling 4,000 as well. That's the only issue. They might only bring about 1,000 fans.
That's all right. We'll fill the rest of their end. That's fine.
Well, exactly.
Wayne again, about the money. Was he talking that we're selling someone to give him money? I don't know. I think
No,
it's not selling anyone. Definitely not.
no. I mean,
no.
he just said he was going to bring 2 in, wasn't he? That could change. I mean, yeah.
Glenn's put, who would you want to sign in January?
Oh.
Well, you see, I had one. But you talk, and I'll find the player that I wanted to sign.
Well, I mean, obviously, I've mentioned Bowler as well. It's so difficult, isn't it? Because I'm trying to. That is a really difficult question, because I still think we need a central defender somewhere. I know we got Kyle, and you got the young lad Doyle and Panzo, and Rose. We still need another, definitely, and somebody up top. I mean, I like the. I think Cole Stockton. Is it Cole Stockton? I think he's either Morecambe or Accrington. But he seemed pretty good last season. But will he cut it in the Championship? That's the thing, isn't it? So then you're looking at players in the Premier League who aren't playing regular, and who'd be happy to come down. That's a difficult. Who's your one?
I got 2,
Oh.
and this is going to send everyone crazy, but I think we need to look outside the leagues,
Right.
in the lower leagues, for someone who's going to be hungry to come in,
Right.
and that has got the same mentality of the squad already. Right? And I've been watching it on Netflix. Ollie Palmer or Paul Mullin, because they are hungry for it. And even if I mean, I just think going for the lower leagues, to bring someone up to a club that's just been bought out would make you want, like we're happy now, it would make them go, oh, blimey, I've got the chance to really get to the Premier League, and they'd be hungry for it. I mean, that's just mad, but
When we were in the top flight, our team was built to play us from the 3rd and 4th division.
Yeah.
That's what we did. I mean, Stuart Pearce came from non-league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Boosty came from non-league. Yeah.
It's it's possible to make him into players. I mean, Ian Wright was in non-league before he went to Palace, wasn't he? So he came in at a late age. So
I just think that being non-league, they'd be so hungry. It's unbelievable. I mean, I just think it'd be absolutely superb. It'd just be someone like those characters. They've got a character as well. They've got a bit of a real character that would really go well with our squad. That's probably why I've chosen them to. So we're coming to the end of the show very, very soon. We'll crack on with a couple more comments. Here's one from Russ. Casper Watkin has left his Adobe. Okay. Callum Styles. Callum Styles. I've saw Ronaldo at the arena Tesco's wearing a City training top. Shut up, Nick.
He's probably stropping off somewhere.
Yeah, go away. The future's bright for the future's sky blue. Yeah, definitely. Mick, what we got here? Let's hope there's no balloons put on a certain someone's car. Blimey, they're all coming out. What is this one here? We got, for me, it's a long shot. Put Diaz from
Blimey.
Blackburn in there.
Well,
No, we won't get him. Like they want too much money, won't they?
yeah.
Who
There's
we
a guy
got
at
here?
Swansea as well, isn't there? Pirot?
Yeah.
He's
I
decent,
really
so-
like the left wing back, Bramble, and midfield, Basler
yeah.
from Rotherham. Yeah, he was good, weren't he? And their left wing back was very good. He was
Yeah,
quick. Yeah, that might be a good shout. The left wing back. Well done, Glenn. What else we got? Let's have a quick go. Adam Armstrong, maybe.
Yeah,
Nah. No, we're not having that. No, he's been done it. He scored his 20 goals. Took him 3 months to get his 20th goal. Didn't Regis start in
Yeah, he
non-league? Yeah, he sure did. Flipping it. These are coming in thick and fast tonight. This is going to go on for hours, Claudio. I've never seen so many comments coming in. Cheers, guys. This is brilliant. Eventually played. So with West Brom fixture in December, Robbins indicated he has 2 players he wants to sign as freebies and then use income to pay for wages. Yeah, that's brilliant, Mark. How are you, Mark? Hope you're all well, mate. Who we got here? Kyle Taylor, Exeter. Oh, yeah. I'm going to watch that Saturday. Exeter Ipswich. Come on, Exeter. Yeah, all day long. And then we've got, sorry if it's already been discussed. I joined late. Do we have any assurances that DK will still follow through on the arena now that the arena is off the table? Well, we will say, Robert, that he has come out today and said that he's already bought the club, hasn't he? He said it on the news. He's already bought the club.
The buying of the stadium was a long shot, wasn't it? He kind of admitted that because they were too late. Basically, that's why they wanted to delay it for a couple of days so they could put something together to show them due diligence. But it wasn't. They didn't have enough time, did they? So yeah, man, he said it, didn't he? He keeps saying we and us.
Yeah.
So he's just waiting for the EFL to confirm it.
We.
Not
He
French,
sounded French to me. Oh, do you know what? It's just this last 24 hours has just been superb, to be honest with you. Right, so we're to the end of the show. Oh, here we go. Here you are. You like this one, Claudio? Thanks for a great show, Miles, Claudio, and Glenn. Cheers, Mick. Thanks for watching. Lovely stuff. Now, before we go, a couple of competitions for you. We do have a Dylan's Brewery tour, and it is up for grabs. We're going to run it through the World Cup, so you'll have the chance to have it for Christmas, and you could even give it away as a Christmas present. But your question for that one will be, which Coventry City goalkeeper played for England? Send your answers to skybluefanstv@gmail.com. That's which Coventry City goalkeeper played for England. And then Ken, who couldn't come tonight because he's busy working, has kindly donated an amazing World Cup package. Now it's there. It's a flag and a Sky Blue Fans TV mug, which is they're really nice, actually. It has got our old logo on it, but we've got to get rid of them till we get the new logo on. But your chance to win one of these. The question is, really easy, name the 3 ex-Coventry City players in the England squad. Email skybluefanstv@gmail.com. Someone will be putting a spreadsheet together. That's going to run for a week, and we'll get you the winner drawn out next Sunday. So you'll have it in time for the middle of the World Cup, actually. So you'll get it in time for the last England game. and then for the rest of the World Cup when we're at the final, which would be absolutely superb. Now, also, just a quick one. We have a special on Sunday. This is going to be great because we have got CJ coming on live from Qatar. How cool is that? He's going to be live in Qatar with England fans, his partner, and his baby. I've told him to get I've told him to get a pair of gazelles for the baby ready for the live stream next week. So yeah, we've got CJ coming on Sunday live from Qatar, World Cup special. Be brilliant talking about England. So I just want to say a massive thank you to Claudio for coming on tonight and Glenn.
Pleasure.
You've both been absolutely superb. A massive thank you to everyone that has watched us tonight and just comments have been flying in. I can't even finish all of them, unfortunately, because we have run over a little bit. But yeah, listen out for Sunday. Don't forget, CJ is going to be on live from Qatar, and you've got the competitions as well to enter. So from me, from Claudio, and from Glenn, who's vanished,
It's gone
a
already.
happy Sky Blues. We're over the moon. We got new owners at last. Shame we didn't get the ground, but you know, we can't have it all. We got 1 out of 2. That ain't bad, is it? But thanks, Claudio. Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, great. Always like coming on, having a natter about the city.
Brilliant.
And everything else. It's good stuff. Good stuff.
Excellent, mate. Now, listen, thanks again, guys. You've been watching Sky Blue Fans TV. I've been Milesy. Please like and subscribe, and you'll see us very, very soon. See you Sunday night. Take care.
See ya.